Where is the most valuable collection of art on Earth? The Louvre? The Metropolitan Museum of Art? The British Museum? How about the $3 billion collection of the world's biggest mega dealer? The answer actually lies in Switzerland, and not in a gallery or museum. It's sitting in Geneva, right next to the airport, in a network of buildings that look more like shipping containers than a gold mine. But buried underground, inside temperature-controlled vaults, are some of humanity's greatest works: Pablo Picasso, Vincent van Gogh, Andy Warhol, Pierre-Auguste Renoir. These are among the 1.2 million pieces here. Shrouded in secrecy, nobody knows the exact value of the goods, but the low estimate is $100 billion. That's enough to build the Marina Bay Sands, Singapore's mega resort, 18 times over. So, what is so special about this compound? This is called a Freeport. It's the duty-free section for the world's richest, a place for them to buy and sell art in secret. To others, it's an art prison, where iconic pieces languish away, far from public view, sometimes never seeing the light of day. Freeports are now emerging all around the world. Their value is being driven by the lucrative art market, which by some metrics is growing even faster than the stock market. So, how do Freeports actually work? Why are the wealthy rushing to invest in art? And is this hidden network part of a much darker world? Welcome to Moving Target. Today we're setting our sights on the secretive economy of Freeports. First of all, what on earth is a Freeport? The modern version sprang up in 16th century Italy in the city of Livorno. Livorno wasn't an industrial centre. It didn't really produce anything. And so, instead, it looked to capitalise on something else. Livorno turned itself into a transit point by massively lowering tariffs and creating a diplomatically neutral zone where goods could be kept away from the higher taxes of the region. This simplified trade for merchants, and the effects were enormous. It supercharged the coastal town, bringing more money than ever before and transforming Livorno into one of the most important cities in Europe. This was the blueprint for the Freeport. Other cities responded with their own Freeports: Genoa, Nice, Villafranche, La Spezia, Tangier. Livorno had kicked off an economic war for control of Mediterranean trade. They were mainly fighting over the movement of agricultural products, but increasingly personal goods. In today's language, Freeports are categorized as a kind of special economic zone where goods are exempt from a country's usual taxes. They are often close to airports or seaports because they rely on global shipping networks. But there is one significant difference between the Freeports of Livorno and those in high-tech cities of today. Goods back then were literally moving from one place to another. Today, many assets kept in Freeports are basically there permanently. They use this technically in-transit status as a legal loophole. Freeports have well and truly exploded. Hong Kong, Singapore, Shanghai, Dubai, and all around the globe. And they are only getting busier. Just like in Livorno, a Freeport can boost a city's trade. One estimate puts the figure at around $16 billion a year. So where is all this money actually coming from? We can get an idea by zooming in on one of the most expensive kinds of products held in Freeports: art. Christie's is one of the two big auction houses in the fine art world. In 1998, it was valued at least $815.3 million, which would be $1.6 billion today. Fast forward to 2022, and Christie's raked in 7 times that number, $8.4 billion in sales alone. When combined with its main competitor, Sotheby's, the two account for 22% of global art sales. Auction houses take a commission out of each sale, and their performance is an indicator of how much fine art is being traded each year. Christie's sold Pablo Picasso's Women of Algiers for $179 million in 2015. 2 years later, Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi was sold for $450 million, making it the most expensive painting of all time. In fact, the entire top 10 most expensive paintings have all been sold in the last 13 years. But who exactly is spending these enormous sums? The short answer: the rich are getting richer. Global private wealth has surged over the past 40 years. In just the last decade, the richest 1% have gained $33.9 trillion. That's more than the entire GDP of the United States. And this wealth is controlled by around 80 million people, or 1% of the world's population. The more wealth that is accumulated, the more the ultra-rich look for places to keep their assets safe. Offshore bank accounts are still often used, but the new strategy is artwork. According to a 2025 Deloitte report, ultra-high net worth individuals hold art valued at over $2.5 trillion. For this group, art is more than a piece of work to hang on a wall. In fact, many of them never intend to hang these paintings at all. The beauty, for the wealthy, is in art's performance as an asset. Art is seen as a recession-proof investment class, and there is hard data to back it up. Art indices compile thousands of art sales into a statistical average. Most show that the art market has been less volatile and less dependent on other asset classes, unlike cash, equities, bonds, securities, or real estate. Take a look at this graph. It shows the work of established artists massively outperforming the stock market since 2000, at times more than double. The average annual return between 2000 and 2023 was 8.9%. If you had invested $100 into art in 2000, that would have grown to $700 by 2023, compared to the S&P 500, where average annual returns were 4.2%. The art market was more than double. These indices aren't perfect. The nature of the art world is inherently secretive. Many deals are made privately, without involving auction houses, meaning the data isn't public. However, the strength of the sector is reflected both in the investment market and public art sales. Financial companies like Masterworks, which offer individual investors the opportunity to buy shares of artwork, have over $1 billion worth of art under management. Even in times of stress, art is a safe bet. For instance, in 2022, the world was just lifting COVID-19 restrictions, global inflation was still at around 9%, and Russia had invaded Ukraine. Despite all of that instability, the art collection of a Microsoft co-founder sold for a record $1.5 billion in a single evening. This resilience is why 3 out of 5 wealth managers use art as part of their portfolio. It outperforms the stock market and isn't as sensitive to economic shocks. And now even younger generations, millennials and Gen Z, are beginning to enter the art market as an investment, making up 33% of Christie's clients last year. But if art is only needed as an investment, then where is it all kept? This brings us back to Freeports, where private banks recommend their clients keep art investments. And in Europe, the most valuable Freeport is in Geneva, Switzerland. But why Geneva? And how does the system actually work to avoid taxes? Switzerland is synonymous with neutrality. It has leveraged this image to create a world-renowned banking sector, carving out a unique role in the European economy. And this role goes back more than 80 years. During World War II, Swiss francs were the most stable currency to have. Swiss banks took in $1.7 billion worth of Nazi gold deposits, much of it looted from conquered countries or minority groups. On the other side, the Allied powers also used Swiss banks to fund intelligence networks, diplomacy, and other war-related expenses. Today, the Swiss banking sector is worth $92 billion, but Switzerland's links to shipping, trade, and asset movements have allowed it to create something even more valuable, the richest free port in the world. In Geneva, just minutes from the airport, is a warehouse complex. Inside these grey buildings, locked away behind layers of high-tech security, is a fortune. This is the Geneva Freeport, majority owned by the Canton of Geneva, but it's the private companies who operate here whose business it is to keep assets safe. The rooms inside these concrete forts can withstand explosions. They are separated by solid metal doors, and the only way in or out is with a full body scan and biometric reading. There are an estimated 1.2 million pieces of art here. So, how does the tax avoidance actually work? Let's break it down. Say you want to buy a $10 million painting that's in New York. Usually, that purchase would attract a New York sales tax of 8.875%, which works out to $887,500. And that's before paying for storage. The way around it? By setting the point of delivery as inside the Geneva Freeport. This classifies it as an export, where it will be used outside of New York. Once your artwork makes its way to the Geneva Freeport, the cost of renting a small space ranges from $5,000 to $12,000. That's a small price to pay to avoid hundreds of thousands in taxes, especially if you put a number of paintings inside. Here, your painting is considered in transit, so you don't have to pay any taxes from New York or from Switzerland. The downside is that you can't display your new art, but as we've learned, most of these pieces are being bought purely as an investment. That's why today, the Geneva Freeport houses at least $100 billion of art. But there's a dark side to this. Once art enters a Freeport, it becomes virtually invisible to the market. Not only does it avoid taxes, but it can change hands between owners without being reported completely in private. All it takes is changing a name tag. Freeports are required to keep track of all items and names of individuals entitled to dispose of the property, but not the actual owner. Partly, this privacy is a matter of security, but this anonymity also makes art the perfect market for criminals. For example, in the 1990s, an art dealer's Geneva storage unit was raided by the Swiss police. They found over 10,000 items of looted antiquities, worth tens of millions. Then, in 2003, hundreds of stolen Egyptian artifacts were uncovered in the Geneva Freeport. Once again, the Freeport was acting as a safe haven for crime, but not the temperature-controlled rooms or the locked vaults. What really protects everything here is the legal armour. You see, many of these illegal items had been integrated into the system, legitimised with forged documents after being smuggled into Switzerland. And technically, as we have seen, putting a work of art into a Freeport is not exporting it, since it is classified as in transit. It is also not entering another country in legal terms. That can mean that no laws are actually broken. These layers of paperwork were also used to deny rightful owners from getting their stolen works back, covering up looting, like the Egyptian artifacts. When the Panama Papers were released in 2016, they revealed another shady part of the art market: collusion. Shell companies were being used to buy up paintings, misrepresent their ownership, and work together with big auction houses like Christie's to push up prices, making enormous profits and completely skewing the art market. By most indices, art is performing incredibly well, but art is a speculative asset, and if there is collusion at the top of the market, it could mean that it's actually much less resilient than it appears. Even with Switzerland introducing tighter laws, much of the information is still only available to inspecting customs officers. None of it is public, and the virtually unregulated art world is perfectly designed for something darker than tax evasion, theft, or market manipulation. The United Nations estimates that between 2 and 5% of global trade is laundered money. That's between $2.3 and $5.8 trillion, and art is the perfect vehicle. It's regularly transported across borders. It's normal to go through many different owners. The industry itself is shrouded in secrecy, especially sales prices, and there are no products to compare with the original. Take a Da Vinci painting, for example. The range of acceptable prices is basically unlimited. 100 million, 450 million, it's all a matter of taste. Legally, there are protections for money launderers too. Plenty of companies, including banks, auction houses, or art dealers, are not required to report large or suspicious cash transfers or even where they came from. This makes it easy to change who the owner is on paper, transforming a stolen piece of art into a legitimate item on the marketplace. Criminals can even use non-government organizations, trusts, and foundations to access the art market. Provenance papers can be forged, stolen, or fake identity documents can be used. Passing through auction houses like Christie's or Sotheby's is no longer a complete guarantee of authenticity. In a major bust that infiltrated a $50 million money laundering scheme, one undercover agent was told that this market is the least regulated in the world. But where exactly does this money get cleaned? An estimated 40% of the world's dirty money is laundered through the United Kingdom, especially London. This is now shifting to cities like Hong Kong and Dubai. The problem with international money laundering is that when one location closes, another opens up. It's whack-a-mole, but with international finance. Freeports bridge the divide between the world of offshore finance and the informal economy, and more are emerging every year. In 2020, the United Kingdom announced plans to create 8 Freeports. Already, 7 are operational. They are being marketed as a way to create jobs, attract global investment, and drive innovation. But they will inevitably create more extensive networks for tax evasion, money laundering, and artwork that is kept in storage units rather than displayed in public museums. For those worried about inequality, or those who simply love art, the growing Freeport movement is a stark warning. Capital accumulation requires a system of global finance, asset management, and secrecy, far away from the public, just like its art in its Freeports. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Our videos take weeks of research, and any support really helps us out. Plus, it will keep you tuned for the next target.